I'm nervous. This is the first official Zoom with your dad. Your dad.
I'm not nervous. It's my dad.
Ah, here he is.
Yes, it is.
Hi, it's Nerd Boy.
It's
Hey,
Nerd
Daniel.
Boy.
Hi, it's me. And yeah, I'm nervous to talk to Pat's dad because he is a very smart man. He is an evolutionary developmental biologist, which, full disclosure, I straight up had to Google and then Wikipedia before making this video because I, honest to God, would not have guessed that that was his proper title. Anyways, Sean and I have an understanding where I can ask him many ridiculous questions because I did not have a good science education growing up, and I have a lot of catching up to do. Not to get too political or detailed, I went to an evangelical Church of Christ school in Norcross, Georgia, who at the time was one of those kinds of schools that would skip over the reproduction chapter in biology because, let's face it, a diagram of a uterus is a sin. And here's the thing, I'm embarrassed about it. I actually am. Especially now when misinformation is rampant and just about anything can look like the truth when you slap a good filter on it. Sean helps me weed out what is fact, what could be fact, what is a part of a fact, and what is certifiable garbage. So that's what we're doing here today. I'm asking Nerd Boy a science question.
Hoping that you can provide some context for me about the human body, context and perhaps some guardrails around my thinking about the human body, because as we both know, this girl has a lot of questions and not a lot of scientific background. So I just want to make sure I don't veer into assumption land.
Fair enough, but you know, I am Dr. Carroll, but I'm a fruit fly doctor, so we're both to find the truth here.
There's this idea in some therapies that actually shaking can help combat stress and anxiety, and is a way to kind of get that, I guess, parasympathetic nervous system back into play. From the scientific perspective, do you think that this is like a silly experiment that I'm going to shake for my anxiety and tremor for 72 hours?
You're gonna keep it up for 72 hours?
I know. Why am I actually doing this? I mean, it rides the line of clickbait town, except it's not, because I actually am going to be vibrating in this video in the process. If you were thinking what I think you were thinking, how shocked you must have been when this video started with an interview with Pat's dad. What a fun roller coaster ride I'm taking you on. No, I'm doing this. Why? Well, because 84 years ago, back in 2019, I was working on a special season of Ladylike episodes where we try everything dubbed ladylike throughout history, one of which being vibration therapy, which was popularized in the Victorian era as a cure for hysteria in women. If you didn't know, back in the 90s, a scholar named Rachel Maines wrote a book dubbed The Technology of Orgasm, claiming that doctors in the Victorian era used to bring women to orgasm as a cure for hysteria and just, you know, being a woman. Thank you, Ross. There's Ross right there. I don't know if you can see him. Say hi, Ross.
Hi, Ross.
All right, Ross. While the fact of whether or not docs actually use vibrators as early Hitachi wands is up for dispute, we do have evidence in medical journals that suggests that doctors did use vibration therapy on places like the head, feet, the hips, skin, the stomach, like all over the body, not... So BuzzFeed actually ended up canceling the entire season, throwing it in the trash a week before production. But the idea still stuck with me. Now fast forward to today. I haven't left my house in so long, I'm beginning to think I'm haunting the place. My brain is working on overtime, my mouth tastes like bile all the time, and I would kill to have President Obama back again. And then I found this. This is Dr. Janine Kreft, aka Kreft's Couch on TikTok. She's a psychologist who makes a lot of helpful videos about ideas you often learn about in therapy. This is a modern lady, and she's trying ecstatic dance, aka shaking her ass, aka vibrating, as a way to calm down the sympathetic nervous system and bring it back down to homeostasis. So, I'm gonna try it. But I'm gonna try it my own way. So what I'm going to do is set up an area in my house where I can actually shake it out. It's gonna be a premier club that only I can get into. Ooh, rich. Then for the next 72 hours, anytime I feel anxious, I'm going to sit in my massage station for 5 to 15 minutes to zen out. And then I'm going to throw on some tunes and get weird. Dance it out. Throw my limbs about. Make everyone else who might be in the house uncomfortable with all the wiggling that I'm doing.
If we have a system that kicks us into kind of fight or flight, what would you say the system is to calm us down? And how long does that usually take?
These hormones that are released that sort of activate your body, and your heart rate goes up, your breathing goes up, your muscles are sort of ready to go. That is it's a defense mechanism. It's been around for hundreds of millions of years in the animal kingdom. And that probably just the relaxation from that state is that hormone dissipating in the bloodstream.
Like naturally.
I don't think there's anything necessarily that you, like a counter chemistry to that would, calm you back down.
I mean, weed, but we don't have to put that in the video.
Okay, it's the end of a kind of hard day, just like feels like everything outside is just charged for a good reason. I find myself at the end of the day gravitating towards this corner of the kitchen that has the ice cream and the bread. And don't get me wrong, I intend to enjoy this ice cream, but we have the shake space open. Oh, yeah, Bones gets it. I'm gonna take 2 more bites of this ice cream. We're gonna shake it out. We'll see how we feel. You know what? Yeah, I am eating ice cream with a fork. And you know what? I know, I'm a monster. I don't care. Let's turn these puppies on. There are so many cords. Wow. Off the bat, I can tell you that there are a lot of cords and I'm annoyed.
I stand, obviously.
You stand?
Of course.
Oh. We finished. I am definitely feeling looser. Now it's time for the ecstatic dance, shake it out part. Nothing weird to see here, just a grown woman dancing by herself in a house full of other people. But she's not talking to anyone else, she's just dancing in her kitchen alone.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know what I walked into. There were 2 cats staring at you and you were staring at me and nobody was moving and I was confused.
Okay, well now you know.
Okay, kind of some chocolate chips though. Is that part of your therapy?
What, and maybe it is?
Anecdotally, I see it when we work with people to record things that if they're tensed up and struggling with the anxiety of being watched by the camera, to physically shake it loose can help people get over that and get them out of their heads and back into their bodies.
I'm curious about just what muscle activity might be doing physiologically, that it might be sort of relieving some of the tension that's being built up by the stress hormones, and that actually that movement is good. In some ways, when your body is tensed up like that, the fight or flee, it's because, in the old days, we would run like hell, to get out of danger. So for all I know, it could mean that the muscle movement could be something that is a physiological release of this tension.
Good morning. It is Wednesday morning. Pat just reminded me upon getting up that I had to do something. I'm making it sound very vague and cloudy. But I'm feeling stressed and my first instinct was to lie down on my bed as I explained this to you, but no, that's not what we're doing this week. Woo-wee, woo-wee. We're gonna go shake it out. Here we go. Once again, out of breath from shaking like a mad woman. But I do have a smile on my face, and I'm a lot more awake. When I put this massage straitjacket thing on that I've created for myself, when it starts massaging right here, it touches this sore muscle that as soon as the pressure comes here, I'm immediately turn into Devin But Better. Okay, feel a little weird.
I don't know if you've heard the great words of scientist and philosopher Taylor Swift when she said, "Shake it off."
Actually, I think, Patrick, it probably goes back to your childhood. I remember, was there not Raffi who sang a song called Shake the Sillies Out or something like
Shake the
that?
sillies out, yeah.
Did you used to shake the sillies out?
I'm sure I shook the sillies out.
I used to shake the sillies out. But I think that makes sense. And look, I think if you look at athletes, stepping to the foul line or stepping into the batter's box, they're anticipating. So some of this, I think, is, some of that stress is just us anticipating whatever is to come, and we're kind of gearing up. And it's pretty clear for an athlete or for a performer, right? Obviously, if you're going to go out and sing or whatever, or act, you're going to feel that tension. So the devices we have to burn off that tension, to release that, so it doesn't kind of affect the performance, I think that makes a lot of sense. So maybe you're just shaking the sillies out.
So I've been editing all day, and when you're editing video, it's like a sport of stamina. What I'm trying to get at is I felt really tired, and so I laid down in my bed for what I thought was going to be a 20-minute nap, and it turns out it was an hour. Feeling annoyed that I took a nap, I guess there's only one thing to do. It's time to shake it out. So I woke up from my nap, walked out, and discovered that Pat was building a blanket fort for date night.
It's not ready yet.
It's not ready yet. That has improved my mood a lot. Well done, Patrick. I'm beginning to think that this shaking thing just exhausts the body. It doesn't necessarily take the thoughts of anxiety away, but it does kind of take care of the symptoms like chest tightness and clenching my jaw. It's around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I have not shaken once because this morning was a cluster. We woke up to find out that our water was turned off and that we were not alerted that our water was going to be turned off. Now, granted, it was only turned off for 3 or 4 hours, but still we had no idea. However, I have an observation. Typically, when things don't go as planned, I tend to get very clenched. If I have a plan in my mind for how something's gonna go and it doesn't go that way, you might see me do this. Yeah, which is clenching my jaw. And today, things have not gone my way. However, I feel not as clenched. Now, I don't know if that's because I shook the baby that is myself, or if it's the fact that we have a pillow fort in our house right now, or if it's the fact that I slept well. I will say, I do feel a little different. Y'all are about to see something that's very vulnerable for me, okay? The underbelly of my nighttime skin routine. I was about to go to bed, but was feeling pretty anxious, and then had remembered. Anyways, she's greased up like an Arkansas pig. Wellness update. I'm still vibing. Oh, girl, get in there. Something weird is happening though. I feel like I'm being bounced on someone's knee right now, and because of that, I'm belching a lot. I don't know if we're massaging gas out of me or something, in which case that's alarming. I cannot burp on command. I promise you I'm not fucking with you. I'm gonna turn the camera off because I have a feeling I might get demonetized. Today I was boop boop boopy doopy doop boop boop doing my work at the computer and dragged my active project file into the trash, and then I deleted. So I've had a little bit of an existential crisis, except this is my resignation letter from existence. I have a lot of the video still. I'm missing the project file, which has hours of my editing already on it. I had a critical interview with a somatic experiencing practitioner that basically was gonna be the therapy aspect of the video, and I deleted her. That's gonna be something that I'm gonna have to reshoot, and I'm probably going to have to be incredibly vulnerable and take up more of this man's time. And I'm going to release that as the second part of this video. He has a lot to say on the topic of trauma and stress, which is something that I think we're all going through right now, whether it be from outside forces or self-inflicted. What I'm experiencing right now is what they might call hysteria.
ideas can be tested, right? If you test them, I mean, your individual experience we would call sort of anecdote, but if you test enough people and you test it in somewhat of in a controlled way, that's just science. Science is just doing this in sort of a structured way. That's all it is. So, we don't have all the answers. You have to run experiments to find out.
What I'm hearing though is that I'm a scientist now. That's what I'm hearing from you, Sean. That I am science. I am science.